Certainly, this is a difficult bill, and it's a difficult subject. I'm also a mom, and I agree that it would be pretty much impossible for me to imagine a situation where sex between a 25-year-old and a 14-year-old could be consensual. I just don't believe that exists. However, what current law says is that it's possible for a judge to decide that sex between a 24-year-old man and a 14-year-old girl is consensual, but sex between a 19-year-old man and a 17-year-old boy must lead to that 19-year-old being placed on the sex registry for life. That is why the current law is not equitable. If there is a problem with judges ruling that sex between a 25-year-old and a 14-year-old of any gender is allowable, we should probably take a look at that law and changing that law. But that is not the question that is in front of us now. The question that's in front of us now is, why are we treating sex between two same-gendered people completely differently than sex between a man and a woman? That is the question in front of us now, and that is not justifiable within the context of our values in this state. And yes, there are cases where the state is wasting resources monitoring an 18-year-old who's on the registry because he had sex with his 17-year-old boyfriend. That is factual cases here in California. That is why this bill is supported by law enforcement and by survivors advocates and by Children Now, and the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault are supporting this bill because we have dangerous sex offenders in California that need monitoring. But if we're wasting our time monitoring 18-year-olds who had sex with 17-year-olds, which, by the way, if it was a young man and a young woman, would not be on the registry, but is because they were the same gender, we are not using valuable resources monitoring truly dangerous sexual predators. So let's be clear about what this bill is and what this bill is not, because there's a lot of hyperbole and a lot of emotions over it that are getting in the way of us seeing that this is purely an equity issue. It is not decriminalizing statutory rape by any extent. With that, I urge an aye vote.